The very small area which I'm going to be tiling this afternoon is between this cupboard at the top and this working area here. Is prepare your surface, and if there's any flaking paint, actually just got to take it all off. Here is the tile adhesive that I'm going to be using. You can see right down here it says 10 kilograms will give you 2 square meters, so I should be using about half a bag. So I'm just going to be putting about half a bag into this container. Now I'm just going to be adding some water. Now I'm just going to mix it up into a nice smooth paste. It's what the consistency should look like. You can see as I'm swirling it around, it's actually keeping its shape. I also have a choice of different spreaders which I can use. Because these are very small tiles, I'll use one of these, probably this one, which has I think about a 5 or 6 millimeter tooth. Now my first step is to get 2 little spaces and put them at the bottom, just to keep an equal distance between the tabletop and the bottom of the tile. And then always on my first tile I lay the adhesive directly onto the back like that. And that is just to protect the wall here so I don't make a mess on the side. Now I can load my spreader. Once again, put the little spaces at the bottom. At the same time, put a little spacer in between those 2 tiles. So we keep the same distance. Now we're reaching a tricky little spot because I can't put the spreader in between the plugs and the tabletop. So once again I'm going to be doing it straight onto my tile. Second row exactly the same as the first, putting adhesive on the back of the tile, putting it in position and putting little spaces in between the tiles and lining it up over here perfectly. And now we have the situation with the plugs again. So once again, putting an adhesive on the back of the tile, and I'm just going to start on the other side. And now I've come to the plugs again. I'm going to be drawing a straight line all the way across from one side to another. Double check I can put the ruler along the top. Because the adhesive is still wet, I can still move it up a little bit if necessary, but it seems fine. I'm just about to start cutting the tiles that fit around the plugs. As you can see, I've marked every single tile with an X, and that's the part I'm not going to be using. I'm going to be using my tile cutter. If you don't have one of these machines, they're not very expensive, but if you don't have one, you can always get a little disc like that, and you fit this to your angle grinder, and it works just as well. So when you do this, don't forget to wear safety glasses as well. All my little pieces, I'm going to be putting them on around the plugs, which some people call sockets, same thing. So now I'm just going to be putting the last one in, which is a very difficult corner to cut because of this long thin piece. Now we come to my favorite part, and that is grouting, putting the grouting in between the tiles. It's just the finishing touch. These are the two things I'm going to be using today. This is actually just a spreader. It's rubber and flexible. But personally, I actually like this plastic float. I find it easier to put the grouting up onto the tile, and then I'll use this. Now I'm going to be starting on the right hand side and moving across. My trowel is particularly useful in hard to get places, like just beneath the cupboard. And there's even going to be some places where you're going to have to use your finger. It's just a lot easier. Now, before the grouting is dried completely, just get a piece of cloth or a sponge, like I prefer using. Just squeeze out the excess water, and then before the grouting is dry, you've actually got to clean the tiles. Once the grouting dries completely, it's very difficult to get it off. The grouting has got to be a little bit recessed. It can't stand proud and it can't be the same level. It actually looks nicer if it's slightly recessed. Look at this area. I'll show you what I mean. Looks better like that. So now we have finished, and it's looking a lot better than before.